Rice patties. Sunday, let's say January 12th, on the way to Khe Sanh from the city of Hawaii. It's 9 o'clock in the morning, 9:15 in the morning. Now this is what the country looks like in central, Vietnam, not central, but central going inland and to the SOG Valley area over by Khe Sanh. A lot of farmers working on the rice fields, getting ready for harvest, or not harvest, but planting. Yeah. There we are, Khe Sanh Marine Base. There's a Huey and a Chinook tank over there, little museum here. Looks like there's some bunker stuff going there. Got the Longhouse. FOB3 was down that way somewhere. Yeah, we're gonna find all this stuff. Well, let's go to the museum right now. And the beautiful base Khe Sanh. There's John, Mr. Tan, our driver.
Mark, go in already?
Yeah. There's a Chinook. Oh, C-130.
Yeah, I saw that C-130 down there.
Yeah.
Yeah, all intact.
The U.S. command in Saigon initially believed that combat operations around KSCB during 1967 were part of a series of minor PAVN offensives in the border regions. But when the PAVN was found to be moving major forces into the area, the U.S. force at KSCB was reinforced. On January 21, 1968, the PAVN surrounded and besieged the Marine base. In the ensuing 5 months, KSCB and the hilltop outposts around it were subjected to daily PAVN artillery, mortar, and rocket attacks, and several infantry assaults. More than 274 U.S. troops were killed and more than 2,500 wounded. To support the Marine base, the USAF undertook Operation Niagara, a massive aerial bombardment campaign. In the first 3 months, over 114,810 tons of bombs were dropped by U.S. Allied aircraft and over 900 artillery rounds were fired in defense of the base.
We're here as the Americans here are trying to understand and they were all
UDOT's forces lost 1 KC-130, 3 C-123 and 35 helicopters, while 23 aircraft and 123 helicopters were damaged. Throughout the campaign, U.S. forces used the latest technology to locate and target PAVN forces, and logistical innovations to support the base.
Got angry issues and stuff.
Lao, Ring Bay. That's where we want to go.
In March 1968, a combined Marine Army/ARVN task force launched an overland relief expedition, Operation Pegasus. that eventually broke through to the Marines at Khe Sanh.
Some artifacts. Looks like got smoke. We got M79s. Those are like cluster bombs to me, not ball grenades. Those are clusters for sure. Claymore. They got metallic, ceramic plates. Field jacket. Another flak jacket type deal. Pretty worn out there.
American commanders considered the defense of Khe Sanh a success, but shortly after the siege was lifted, decided to dismantle the base rather than risk similar battles in the future.
Uniform, survival radio.
On June 19, 1968, the evacuation and destruction of KSCB began. Amid heavy shelling, the Marines attempted to salvage what they could before destroying what remained as they were evacuated.
Tools for the tanks. Nice big shell helmet for. I don't think it's our guys. I think it's more of the Vietnamese tank driver. Gotta be for the NBA helmet. These are sensors. What happens, these guys get dropped into the ground and it goes all probably up here into the ground, and the sensors are still up and it transmits information.
Minor attacks continued before the base was officially closed on 5 July. Marines remained around Hill 689, though, and fighting in the vicinity continued until July 11th until they were finally withdrawn, bringing the battle to a close.
Canteen, typical NBA uniforms, shows, M79 grenade launcher. We got some cards, ID cards, dog tags, some equipment, reading utensils. There's how typical way, not typical, but a lot of ways where they would do supplies on bikes. They would stop to the bikes and they wouldn't ride the bikes, they would push the bikes. Chinook, Huey, Chinook. Like some plate parts.
In the aftermath, the North Vietnamese proclaimed a victory at Khe Sanh, while U.S. forces claimed that they had withdrawn, as the base was no longer required.
Hot weather, warm weather. We were not expecting a cold, chilly day, and Khe Sanh. Cold enough for you, buddy?
Oh man, it's cool here. I'm glad I went back got my jacket, man. It's just nice and cold up here, huh?
It is. Cold.
You know, it doesn't get cold in Vietnam. That's the good thing about Vietnam, you know.
What is today?
I've heard those people like my nephew would say, I froze my ass off up there. That go.
What was
what was yesterday? The pass. I went back half on the pass. Yeah, I'm going like, damn. I froze my ass off.
today?
That group, those people in there, they're some kind of like a peaceful type group or whatever from Seattle.
So, recognizing those mountains?
No, I wasn't never here.
Yeah, okay.
But the only thing I did is we flew over this way, you know, headed toward the Leos, and they pointed it out. They said, you know, to me, we were in King Bee, and they pointed it out that we were flying over, and they pointed out, hey, there's Khe Sanh. That, you know, one of the trips. You know, we flew close enough to see it. what, they had 20,000 people here at one time, they said, or something like that?
Wow.
Americans?
Oh yeah, you're right. Remember you're saying sometimes they use this this metal that for the airstrips as bunker stuff.
Yeah, this is a PSP. That's it. Yeah. Of course, they didn't have it welded. If it had been welded.
Historians have observed that the Battle of Khe Sanh may have distracted American and South Vietnamese attention from the buildup of Viet Cong VC forces in the South before the early 1968 Tet Offensive. Nevertheless, the U.S. commander during the battle, General William Westmoreland, maintained that the true intention of Tet was to distract forces from Khe Sanh.
Cement. Yeah, so it's been a lot of time fortifying these positions. It's been a lot of time, putting the cement, fortifying these positions.
Oh yeah, they wouldn't have been quite like this. It would have been nice if they would, probably.
You don't think this was here during the Khe Sanh?
It could have been. I mean, I don't know. Maybe they were here long enough, I guess. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They could have fortified it this much, somehow or another. I would have thought that maybe it would have been more like sandbags or something here, Think you can get out down there?
Take a look. Nope, dead end.
The village of Khe Sanh was the seat of government of Hong Hoa district, an area of Bru Montagnard villages and coffee plantations about 7 miles, 11 kilometers, from the Laotian frontier on Route 9, the northernmost transverse road in South Vietnam.
Nice time for my shoelaces. Damn it. Go ahead, I'll catch up with you. I'll get my shoelaces.
Okay.
Before the daggone things get...
The origin of the combat base lay in the construction by U.S. Army Special Forces of an airfield in August 1962 outside the village at an old French fort. The camp then became a Special Forces outpost of the civilian irregular defense groups, which were to keep watch on PAVN infiltration along the border and to protect the local population. James Marino wrote that in 1964, General William Westmoreland, the U.S. commander in Vietnam, had determined Khe Sanh could serve as a patrol base blocking enemy infiltration from Laos, a base for operations to harass the enemy in Laos, an airstrip for reconnaissance to survey the Ho Chi Minh Trail, a western anchor for the defenses south of the DMZ, and an eventual jumping-off point for ground operations to cut the Ho Chi Minh Trail. In November 1964, the Special Forces moved their camp to the XOM Cham Plateau, the future site of Khe Sanh Combat Base.
Well, I was thinking I was going to come to Vietnam. It was be hot, humid, like the last 2 times I've been here. And come over here, I'd probably have to drink a lot of water, cool down, because it's going to be so hot. Man, oh man, was I wrong. This is cold and windy and wet.
Out here.
Glad we came in January. C-130 rolling down the strip, airborne, going the way through. Here's like stuff for the runways. So they're lobbing a mortar. Boom! That section's gone. They just come in. They drop another piece on there, probably with a...
This isn't really rapid runway repair. Runway repair has really got a bunch of holes in it, and this is a different one. This is
the other ones, a lot of them had the holes in them too.
Yeah.
We've seen them, they made some of those bunkers out of them.
Yes, yes, exactly.
They made the whole thing.
That's really rapid.
But the good thing about it, they had steel in there and they had welding.
Oh, there you go.
Oh! Yes, you can't. The jungle took over all the runway.
damn thing up.
Yeah, you'd be better off leaving it with them. Yeah, it's gone. You know, the runway's gone. Even if I took my drone up, I wouldn't probably be able to find FOB3.
It would have been a dirt strip anyway, made out of this stuff, probably.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure it's still there if they ever wanted it. They just take it, you know, and just use it. But I'm sure that's
I don't
it.
think it was a real long runway. It was just big enough for a C-130, caribous, and all that to turn around.
Well, there were no jets that were coming in.
Huh?
There were no jets.
No, that's what I say. It was nothing big.
Let's take it up for this guy.
That's all. They don't take much,
Yeah.
especially if they're empty.
Yeah, but still pretty interesting. We're setting foot on marine territory. Hey, Bruce Christensen here, History of MACVSOG, SOG Tours. We've come to Khe Sanh to see FOB3. Kind of disappointed. Well, two factors involved. A, it's cold. I didn't believe it was going to be this cold here. Yeah, it's cold and windy and very, very chilly. Two, I was going to fly my drone to try to find FOB3, and that's not going to happen because it's cold, wet, and the wind's gusting too far. My drone would be all over the place. It's not a really big drone, but we did come to Khe Sanh, the Marine base. We were not able to make it to FOB3. A couple reasons why. The museum part of it is just this. It's a nice museum, don't get me wrong, it's nice to come, but if you look over there, there's fences, and you can't go further. FOB3 would have been down the strip that way, and the only way I could see it or get to it is probably by my drone, but you can't walk over there. I saw a lady over there with water buffaloes and cows and stuff, so that's someone's property now, unfortunately. But you know what, to me it was worth coming here, seeing the historic site where the Marines were posted and the siege happened, and the guys from FOB3 helped support you know, recon events up in the hills and stuff, different parts of this area. They would go outside the wire and do their recon work, and they come back into the wire. And yeah, so it wasn't great from guys telling me the duty here wasn't as nice as like a FOB1 or FOB4, where you had clubs. You had a recon club, you had NCO club, you had officers club, you had tailors, you had everything you could think of as far as people, you know, things you want to go in town. You could go in town, you know, different times when it was your turn. My friend Bob Donahue said they didn't have no clubs here. All they had was VC, NVA, and rats. There was no mom and pop outside the gate. Yeah, they had no NCO club, and they had a bunker. They landed the helicopter, and the pilot would say, when you get off the helicopter, run to the nearest bunker and wait there. So Bob Donahue said that's what they did. But Rick Estes, the past president of SOA, told me that, or no, Bob told me that he was sitting by a bunker, and then he's in shorts and no shirt, and then what happened is Rick Estes got off the chopper and ran to where he was, and he said, you know, he just had this big grin on him. It's like, welcome to Khe Sanh. And this, yeah, so this is it. It's worth coming. You know, it's $50K a person, which is nothing. I just wish it was a better day, get some more footage, better drone footage. But for what it's worth, recommend it. A little bit of drive outside of Hawaii. I think it took about 3 hours. And but we hope to go up to Lang Bay next, which isn't hopefully too far. And that's it was A camp for Special Forces. So we'll see you at Lang Bay. Christensen here with the history of MACVSOG, SOG Tours. I'm sitting right down the street from my hotel on the corner at this new IPA brewery. Well, it's a brewery, several different beers. They brew it right here in Vietnam. I think the guy has about 7 locations now, 7 or 8 locations throughout Vietnam. But anyways, I want to talk to you a little bit about SOG Tours. SOG Tours is another aspect of the history of MACVSOG. And what I do with SOG Tours is I bring people that are either SOG members, SOG family members, SOG enthusiasts, just anyone who enjoys the history of MACVSOG in Vietnam. So the tours are based around the history of MACVSOG, locations, however, there's so much more. There's seeing the different sites, eating the local foods, get into the environment, the culture, the beauty of Vietnam. So much more than just SOG related. Yes, we do go see SOG related places, SOG headquarters, safe houses, FOBs. We went up to Khe Sanh. We couldn't see the FOB 3 there because it's not what it used to be, but we were at Khe Sanh, the location of FOB 3. This tour I went with SOG member John Page, RT Rhode Island, RT Colorado, very active SOG member. He came with us and we just had a great time. Started on Ho Chi Minh City, Saigon, saw some places here, went up to Da Nang, hung out there a couple days, and went up to Hawaii. We went to Khe Sanh, and then we went to a place called Lang Bay, which is right outside of Khe Sanh on the Lao border of Vietnam and Laos. There we saw Lang Bay, which was a Special Forces A camp that in 1968 was attacked by a large force of NVA tanks. The first time in the history of the war where they used the force of tanks to overrun a camp. And why it's SOG related is because they had to get SOG personnel to come and rescue the survivors. And Gilbert Secor, my father's friend, was one of those SOG members that went to Lang Bay to rescue the survivors. They all earned the Silver Star that night. There's a book called The Night of the Silver Stars or Tanks in the Wire. Really good books about the Battle of Lang Bay. Lost a lot of Americans and a lot more engaged Blue Mountain Yards. But we did that. Been back to Da Nang. We saw Marble Mountain, FOB 4. Met up with Schwan, who's he was South Vietnamese, lives in Da Nang. He was RT Idaho with Ken Bo Ray. So it's nice hanging out with him. And then also there's other things to do in Da Nang. You go to Monkey Mountain, that's where SOG guys trained. But there's so many other places to go. Hoi An, Sun World, just all kinds of places in Da Nang. The beach is great. Here in Saigon, you're gonna find it a little bit hotter, a little bit more busy, a lot more motorbikes, a lot more tourists, especially in District 1, caters around tourism. But there's a lot to do here. There's a lot of SOG history in Ho Chi Minh. But let me get back to SOG Tours is not just about SOG. Again, it's about you coming to Vietnam and indulging into the wonders of the people, the environment, the city, and the beauty of Vietnam. I invite you to come next year. It's going to be in February, not January. We ran into some rain. It's still the rainy season. So I'm going to push it back to January. So those who want to come, let me know. Let me know what you want to do. It's not just about me, where I want to go, or where I want to take you. It's about you coming here and saying, look, I was at CCN. Okay, let's go to CCN. Or I was at Con 2. Okay, we're going to go to Con 2. Or my father, he was at Con 2. Okay, let's go to Con 2 and see where the base was. Oh, my dad was at Bami Tuwe. Or my dad was at Khe Sanh. Or my uncle, or my relative, or whoever was. Well, I read a bunch of books about John Stryker Meyer Tilt, and I liked FOB1. I want to see what that was like for him. And John Walton and Lynn Black Jr., so many great SOG guys were at these different camps. So if you're just a guy reading about SOG and you're fascinated by it, come to SOG Tours. I'll contact me. I'll get you all the information. Not only do I give you the information, but I will tell you step by step a guide, what you need to bring, everything as far as your passport goes, your medical, what items you need in your bag, what to carry, what not to carry. I will go over all that. And you will just have a short list of things that you will need to do before you come to Vietnam. And it's, invite your family. Yeah, it's gonna be a wonderful time next year, and I hope you can come and see the wonders of Vietnam. Xin chào. Yeah. The people so great. They're all friendly. They all say hi. Xin chào, hello. A couple words to learn as you come here. Xin chào is a big one. Comb your hair means no. So when someone comes to try to sell you something, just comb. A few other words, but you don't need a whole dictionary because you have your phone, translator. So, okay, thank you for watching, and we'll see you next year at SOG Tours.